lesson 6.6. We're going to investigate and use some model with arrays. Remember, arrays are the strategy that we learned where you make equal rows and columns to figure out what your math problem is. Okay, so we're going to use those today with division. So again, looking at how all of these things are related with multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So that is our objective today, is to model the division by using arrays. So you will see by your computers I have put in the little bags of the array tiles that you can use for this. Okay? Still working on the same Common Core standard of representing and solving problems involving multiplication and division. So that's what we're continue to work on. And our essential question you want to be thinking about throughout this lesson is how can you use arrays to solve division problems? Because we originally learned about arrays when we were doing multiplication problems. So let's see how we can use those to solve division problems, knowing that we will be journaling about those at the end of the lesson. Problem of the day today. This is lesson 6.6. So go ahead and label your journal page appropriately. And we're doing a test prep question of Mr. Williams drove 213 miles in March. He drove 456 miles in April. About how many total miles did Mr. Williams drive in March and April? So, looking at that problem, Mr. Williams drove 213 miles in March. He drove 456 miles in April. About how many total miles did Mr. Williams drive in March and April? So we want to know the total amount. That means we're going to combine those two, so we're going to use addition. 213, 56. Starting in our ones column, 3 plus 6, 1 plus 5, and 2 plus 4 gives us approximately 669, and we need to label this as miles. Okay, our brain is getting warmed up. So if I had looked at 669 and I wanted to round that to the nearest 100, I want you to think, would you go to 600? Or would you go to 700? Which one is this number closest to? Is it closest to 600 or is it closest to 700? And on a multiple choice test, since it says about how many miles did he drive, you would probably answer about 700 miles. Okay? All right, diving right into our lesson. You should be on page 231 in your Go Math book. We're going to model with some arrays today. Again, thinking about how you can use arrays to solve division problems. Okay? So your materials, your square tiles are next to your computer if you need them. I'm going to be drawing mine up here just so that you can see what we're doing. You can use arrays to model division and find equal groups. So you're going to start by counting out 30 tiles. So find 30 tiles and make an array to find out how many rows of 5 are in 30. Again, I'm going to draw mine, and I think it's a good strategy for you to use, even when you're like in the lab or whatever, to do 5 rows of 5 in 30. So I'm going to make groups of 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay. Make a row of 5 tiles is what I just did. Here's a row of 5. Each one of these is a row of 5. If you need to make as many rows of tiles as you can to find out how many rows of 5 you can make. So now I'm going to need to count. I have 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows, 4 rows, 5 rows, 6 rows. Okay. Now, I want you to think. We've talked about this throughout the entire chapter. You can check division by multiplying. So 5 times something is going to give me 30. Is 5 times 6 30? 5 times 6 is 30, so I know that my answer is correct. Okay. Again, since I don't have the square tiles and I didn't want to record my visual self doing this for you, I'm going to continue to draw mine through this lesson. You may choose to either use your tiles, put a spot on a paper, draw them, or grab a scratch paper and just pull it to it later. Because when we're in the lab, we're taking an assessment on the computer, most likely we're not going to be able to use the square tiles, so I want you to be able to know how to draw those and manipulate those so that you can still get the correct answer. Drawing conclusion, explain how you use the tile to find the number of rows 5 and 30. Okay, so you can do, it depends on how you did it. If you place the 30 rows in rows of 5 and then counted the rows you made, which is what I did. I made rows of 5 until I got to 30. Then I counted my rows. And again, yours will be much nicer than mine is on the board. Okay, so what multiplication equation could you write for the array? I kind of already jumped ahead on this. I made 6 rows of 5, which equals 30. Okay, similar to this, commutative property, 5 times 6 is the same as 6 times 5, and they both equal 30. Tell how to use an array to find how many rows of 6 are in 30. Okay, so what are you going to do? Here we made rows of 5 until we got to 30. Now they want us to do rows of 6 until they got to 30. How are you going to tell us that? You're going to say similar to what we did up here. I made rows of 6 until I got to 30. Then I counted the rows and see how many you get. Okay? I want you to go ahead and push pause on the video right now. I want you to actually do number 3. When you're done with number 3, push play again. But go ahead and push pause for right now, please. Okay, looking at page 232, we're going to continue to make connections between multiplication and division. You can write a division equation to show how many rows of 5 are in 30. Show the array you made and investigate by completing the drawing below. So we're looking at what we did on the page before where I drew mine out because I made rows of 5. It wants you to continue doing that. Okay, so we have 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You're going to keep going until you get to 30. And that's all it's asking me to do. It's asking you to show the array you made in the investigate part, which is on the page before, to complete the drawing below. Okay? So, as all I did was I drew what I had. What I drew right here is what it wants me to finish and show right here. Because again, I'm drawing using those square tiles. Okay? Now, you can divide to find the number of equal rows or to find the number in each row. So 30 divided by 5 equals something. There are blank rows of tiles. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows of tiles. So 30 divided by 5 equals 6. Okay. Again, check that. You know you're going to do 5 times something, your variable, equals 30. What is this number? What times 5 equals 30? And that number is 6, so I know that I'm right. Okay. Next one, I want you to try it on your own. You're going to count out 24 tiles. Make an array with the same number of tiles in 4 rows. Place 1 in each of the 4 rows, then continue counting 1 tile in each row until you use all the tiles. Draw your array below. So just start by drawing your array below if you want to. Okay? So we have 4, so just keep counting. 5, 6, 7, 8, until you get to 24. Again, making sure that you're drawing them neat and nice so that it's organized. How many tiles are in each row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What division equation can you write for the array? Start with your biggest number, remember. 24 divided by, what were we counting by? 4 rows equals your quotient, which is 6. Think about, and this is going to help you on your essential question, explain how making an array helps you divide. What did we just do? How did that just help you? Okay? And I also want you to think about 4 times a variable equals 24. Is 4 times 6 24? Checking that work. Knowing your math facts. Moving right along the next page, page 233. Share and show. Use square tiles to make an array. If you want to use the tiles, you can. If you want to get an extra piece of paper out, you may certainly do that. Okay, you're going to make rows of 3. Okay, how many rows of 3 are in 18? You are going to go ahead and complete this because I think that it's a pretty basic concept that you're going to be able to understand. Okay, and then the next one you're going to write in a division equation. So write a division equation. You know that that means it has to have a equal sign in it. You're going to start with your biggest number, 25 tiles in 5 rows equals, and then solve that problem. Okay. Again, 28 divided by 4 equals, should go pretty quickly for you. Number 11 wants you to show 2 ways you can make an array with tiles for 18 divided by 6. Shade squares on the grid to record your answer. Okay, so here is the grid they're talking about. They want you to do 18 divided by 6. How could you do that? Use part of the grid solving it one way. Use your answer that you get for this, and then use the second part of your grid to show me the second way. You'll complete this at the end of the lesson. Let's go ahead and jump ahead to our problem solving so that I can go through these with you to make sure that we understand these. Number 12, Thomas has 28 tomato seedlings to plant in his garden. He wants to plant 4 seedlings in each row. How many rows of tomato seedlings will Thomas plant? Look for those keys. He has 28 plants. He wants 4 seedlings in each plant. A seedling is a baby plant. So he wants 28 divided by 4. What do you need to find? How many rows of tomatoes? How many rows to plant? Basically is what he wants to know. Since I already underlined that when I was reading it, it was easy. What operation could you use to solve the problem? You're going to use division. You're going to divide that 28 by 4. So draw an array to show that. Okay, so you want 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're going to count out until you get to 28. Okay, keep counting until you get to 28. And how many of these do you end up getting? Okay, this needs to equal 28 in here. What is another way you could solve the problem? Think about our lesson before. You could use repeated subtraction. You could use a bar model. You could use your acting out where you're drawing them. Okay, and then complete your sentence. You're going to find out how many he has. He has a total of 28 seedlings. He wants to plant 4 seedlings in each row, breaking it down for you. And then he will plant how many rows of tomato seedlings? That is going to be your answer from here that you drew out. Okay, fill in the bubble for your correct answer above. So I want you to go back up here and figure out which one of those it is. Okay. Faith plants 36 flowers in 6 equal rows. How many flowers are in each row? You're going to repeat the process here. It's going to be 36 divided by 6. And yes, draw it out even if you know that math fact. Show me you know it. Number 14, there are 20 plants sold at a store on Saturday. Customers bought 5 plants each. How many customers bought plants? I would act this one out and make groups of 5 until I got to 20. Keep going until you get to 20. Okay. You're going to complete this page. on your own, finishing up those ones. So your task today is to do 233 and 234. Then getting out your math journal. Think about your essential question. How did using those arrays help you to solve division problems? This lesson went pretty fast. I think it's pretty easy. But how did those arrays help you? So you're going to get your math journal. This is 6.6. Write the date. And you're going to say arrays can be used. Finish this. Tell me how. Give me a nice little example down here. Then in your math journal, it says draw an array to show how to arrange 20 shares into 5 equal rows. Explain what each part of the array represents. So you're doing a line, copying that. Then you're going to draw your array. And then it wants you to explain each part of the array represents. Okay, so you're going to say 20 chairs, 5 rows, somewhere in there. Okay, you are more than halfway through the chapter, so if there's anything that you're not understanding or that you're not able to connect with, like the repeated subtraction or the acting out or the bar model, make sure you go back and watch those videos so that you understand it and are able to complete this chapter.